Hi, welcome to Made to Heal with Angela Brown. I am going to talk about triggering moments. But before I talk about triggering moments, I'm going to talk about I just recently changed my channel from, I created it for Christian women, but actually I have changed it for those who are seeking self mastery spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically. I can relate to anybody who is suffering from depression, who is suffering suicidal thoughts. I can relate to those that feel anger, those that have a lot of resentment, those that are have a childhood trauma stored up in them, not knowing how to deal with it. So there are many tools that I've learned in the last several years. I literally was in a dark spot. I wasn't a very happy wife. I wasn't a happy mom. I wasn't a happy person. I didn't feel worthy to connect with God. I didn't think God cared about me. I thought that I was very insignificant in the roles that I was in. And when I hit rock bottom, God taught me otherwise. He taught me so many things through out of the box ideas. I am a Christian woman, and I really think that there are a lot of things to look at. So I had a really solid foundation with scriptures, prayer, going to church every week, learning the Word of God. That is amazing. That is something I still do on the daily and weekly. But it is important that we implement tools on top of these things, which has helped me grow. Um, anyway, I want to talk about a topic because this is something when I was in my unhealthy state of mind, and still it creeps its ugly head sometimes because we're all a work in progress. I am not perfect, and neither are you, and it's going to take some time. It just life change. It's a lifelong process to grow spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically. You can't put in all the work in a month's time, or all the work that you can in a month's time, and say, I'm good physically. Or you can't put all the work in mentally for a month and say, I'm good mentally. No, it's a lifelong, it's something that we incorporate and instill into ourselves to have a better mindset and a growth set. So it's lifelong. You won't learn love and be I'm done with it, because there's going to be something that comes and challenges that, some situation, some person in your life that's going to challenge that, I guarantee. So I'm still continuing to learn on my journey, but I want to talk about triggering moments, because when you're feeling off, when I was feeling off, I didn't realize how off I was. And in my unhealthy mindset, I was like, I would go to, I would listen to a talk, or I'd be in a meeting, and I would think to myself, oh my gosh, this person needs to be hearing this. They're not here, and they need to be hearing this. At the time, I had no idea, but I needed to hear it. It was for me. So that was a triggering moment back then that I didn't realize. It was a triggering moment. And I was sitting there bothered that I was hearing a message, and I wasn't willing to soften my heart and take what I needed out of it. I was full of pride. Do I still have pride in me? Yes. Am I trying to strip myself from pride every day? Yes. So it's something that I am constantly working on, and I think everybody can work on stripping themselves of pride. So we get in a really scary spot if we come to this place where we're unteachable, where the spirit can't connect with us because we think we got it all and we're good. That is a scary, scary situation that we would find ourselves in. So be willing to get out of your comfort zone and be willing to take anything that someone says. If someone tells you something and it offends you, be willing to go, why am I so offended at that? What is it that's triggering this in me? Is it because it was truth that hit me? Is it because there's something that I need to take from it? Possibly. So it's so important that we take our uncomfortable moments and wherever we're finding ourselves in, to be able to look at why we're feeling uncomfortable and ask questions. Ask God, knock, ask, you will receive. You will get an answer. He wants us to connect with him. And for the longest time, I didn't feel worthy to connect with God. So I am reading an awesome book, a very awesome book, and I'm going to get into the teachings of what it teaches in the following days, but you'll probably see it backwards, but it's The Garden by John Gordon. It is so good. He's written a lot of other books, but this is the first one that I'm reading of his, and I look forward to reading the rest of it because he does a spiritual it's a spiritual fable of ways that we can overcome anxiety, fear, and stress and all this stuff, doubt, right? So I am going to kind of highlight stuff, but integrate it into how I've grown on my journey because I'm reading everything and I love how I read books. I've read several books, several self-help books the last several plus years. So like I said, I struggled with depression and suicidal thoughts for 30 plus years. I hit rock bottom almost, it's going on 9 years. I hit rock bottom and I literally, it was the last suicidal thought that I had that wasn't coming from me. It was coming from Satan himself and all that he could muster to come around me. And it was the most scariest point in my life. And I literally called on Christ and I said, help me. And I was called on Christ to chase all the evil spirits that were surrounding me. And it literally took me several times. And the last time that I said it, it literally came from the gut. And it was so strong and forceful of calling in the name of Christ and commanding those evil forces to leave. It was so, so strong. And it was at that point that I have never had a suicidal thought or depression since. It's a miracle, and I give credit to God and Christ for saving me in my time of need. And I didn't know what journey God was about to take me on, but I didn't know I was dealing with all these traumas that I dealt with growing up and into my adult years, and I didn't know how to process through any of it. And he showed me through courses and books. People came into my life, and I'm telling you, we are all here and we all have the same goal in mind. We are just trying to get back home. We're all trying to get back home. If you are dealing with depression, anxiety, anger, any of these negative emotions that you cannot stand to be in, because that's not feeling like home, right? That's uncomfortable. We don't like being in those. If you are feeling any of those, we are homesick. We need to connect with home. And I have learned tools to help me connect with God, Christ, and I finally learned that I truly do have worth like everybody else. You are so valuable and you have a mission and you have a purpose in life. And if you don't know what that purpose is, you can get it. You can find it. We are all here. And unfortunately, I say unfortunately, but no, it's not unfortunately. Fortunately, we have all of our traumatic experiences. We have everything that we have dealt with up to this point for a reason. They are gifts to us. God has had his hand in our lives the entire way through. And if you've been unable to see it, open your eyes. Open your eyes to the incredible experiences, whether they be enjoyable, tough, hard, ugly. Okay, we've had these experiences for a reason. It's for our growth. And a lot of the times, the hard things that you've had in life is going to help you help others on their journey. And so, yeah, my mission and my purpose is to help others to come to God in Christ and help others heal spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically. I fought for my life for the first several years of my life. My twin sister and I weren't supposed to live for very long, and we are beating the odds. We have beat the odds, and I have made it past my 20s, and I am feeling so grateful and blessed for each extra day that God gives me. So I get into that later, but we were born with cystic fibrosis, and it wasn't a great outlook for us. And so it's I've fought for my life physically, and then spiritually, and this is the deal, we are our own worst enemies. If you are not feeling connected to God, that's when we got to start looking within and saying, why? What are we doing to separate ourselves from God? So there is constantly things that I have to be working on, things that we can all be working on. I don't care where you're at on your journey. You may feel like you're up here, or you may feel like you're down here, or you may feel like you're in between. And it does not matter where you find yourself on your journey, but there's always room for improvement. There's always something in our lives that's separating us from God. Because if it weren't otherwise, we'd be perfect, and there's no reason for us to be here, and none of us are perfect. And so every day I have to ask God to forgive me for things that I've done. Every day I make mistakes. Every day we find ourselves making mistakes, but every day is a day to improve upon those mistakes and to get better and to learn to grow. And so when you're finding yourself getting uncomfortable about what somebody said or about something you read, and it strikes anger within you, if it strikes resentment, if you're offended in any way, that is a time to look within. And those triggering moments I like to call teaching moments. They are moments to teach us and show us where we can grow and learn spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically. So the answer to all of life's problems is love. God is love. I forgot my water. It's clear over there. But God is love. He has the answers to all of our problems. And you know what? God is in us. He created us. God and Christ are in us. And there is answers galore. They're within. Like, you have any questions, they're within because God is in you. So if we could, this is something I really want to hone in on, is our identity. If we could truly focus on who we are and whose we are, there is no room for doubt and no room for any of our self-worth issues. And it's always good to be seeking for knowledge and to grow. But if you're feeling off in any learning experience, then that is the time to ask yourself, what is it that's not in line with God, with the teachings of God? What is not in line? If you're feeling uncomfortable about something, what is it in your life that you could improve on? So I will, in the next several days, go over the concepts in this book, because John Gordon talks about, in his book, The Garden, he talks about 5 Ds that Satan uses in this battle. Because I've been saying for a long time, I have literally felt it, especially the last 20 years, and even more so the last 10. I didn't realize when I was struggling spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically, I didn't realize when I had depression and suicidal thoughts that I was being attacked. I was being attacked. Here I thought it was myself. What's wrong with me? What is with me? And I thought I wasn't worthy and I was just beating myself up. Oh my goodness. I was wondering what in the world is wrong with me. Do you ever have that? I mean, put in the comments if you've ever questioned what is wrong with me. Why? There's nothing wrong with us. We are fighting this spiritual battle that is unseen and seen. We can see, and there are so many things we cannot see. We are being attacked on so many levels. So I want to go over the 5 Ds, and actually he introduces more, but of what is holding us back. And we truly are our own worst enemies. I held myself back for so long because I chose to believe in the lies. We are all taught lies over time, whether it's from a loved one, whether it's in school, whether it's, social media. There are so many messages coming at us. And the biggest message that comes at us is we're not good enough. We got to fix ourselves. We're not good enough. But I'd like to help others get to a point where, because you're so good enough, because you are enough, that connection with God and Christ and learning your role, striving to become that version that you were sent here. We are an amazing army to fight this unseen battle, but are we seeing it within ourselves? Are we able to move forward? So, you know what? I know I was probably all over the place. That's okay. I know that a lot of times we feel off, and a lot of times we get triggered. And I want you to know that when you're triggered, if anything I say ever triggers you, if anything anybody else says triggers you, if you're annoyed, agitated, angry, whatever, it's not me. Ask what it is within. And we have so many things fighting against us, but just remember there's two forces fighting for us. One is so badly wanting and has his hands reached out to us at all times with love and compassion, peace, comfort. Christ is there. God and Christ are wanting to build us up. They want to build us to be who we came here to be. We agreed before we came to this earth, we agreed to do certain missions and fulfill certain assignments. Do you feel like you are filling those assignments and fulfilling that mission you were sent to do? I know I wasn't for the longest time, but I know our life trials and experiences help us towards that mission. They are building us up. They want to build us up to become who we agreed to become. And then there's the other. Satan and his forces are here to destroy. They want to tear us down at every level. And they do it in small and simple ways. So small and so sly and so subtle that we don't realize that we are truly being attacked on every level. So, you know what? I encourage you to find those triggers that upset you. And usually those triggers come from people that are closest to you. Have you noticed that You can sit in a room full of acquaintances, but you don't know them that well. Like, you know what? I go to church weekly. I go to church weekly with, my community, and I don't know them well. When I say well, I don't hang out with all these people. The people that I hang out with the majority of the time is my family. And so guess what? Those people that trigger us are usually the ones closest to us. We can get triggered by people on the news, strangers, complete strangers that we don't know. And even then, it's okay to ask yourself, why am I so triggered by this person? Because it is something within that you need to look at. But most of those triggers come from people that we love and care about. And um, it's something that we have to look within, because those are teaching moments for us to learn to grow. So that's what I want you to focus on. Where are you getting triggered? And start asking yourself questions and commit to a stronger relationship to God and Christ, because when we ask them questions, they will lead us. They are there for us at all times. So God bless. I want you to please like and subscribe to this channel. Originally, this channel was for Christian women, but I feel like I can relate to anybody that's dealing with anger, depression, suicidal thoughts, because I have had all of them. And I have suffered emotionally, spiritually, physically, and mentally. I had a negative, pessimistic attitude where I complained all the time. Does it mean I don't have negative thoughts or I don't complain at all? No, I still fight for this, but I have the tools. The difference between 10 plus years ago and now is I have the tools. I don't have to stay stuck. I have a broader perspective and I'm able to see more clearly. And that's what we can be blessed with if we're willing to look within to make changes for a better world around us. Change comes from within. God bless, like, and subscribe. And until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.